fan misses something different about AT&T Park.
The palm trees in the plaza, the statues keeping watch, the kayaks in the cove, the spectacular views of the bay.
But most importantly, they miss being with over 40,000 of their closest friends.
All of them dressed up in orange and ready to lose their minds in order to help their beloved Giants bring home another title.
Today, the Giants and their fans return to AT&T Park. It's the 2014 home opener, and it's coming up next.
We've got an absolute beautiful day for baseball. This is the home opener. That's right, the 15th home opener at AT&T Park, and it is game one of this series, Diamondbacks and Giants. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is Mike Krukow. Well, the road trip is over. The Giants go 5-2. Now we have to deal with the home opener. And Mike, what is it about the home opener that gets the juices going for everybody?
Well, they say that San Francisco is an events town, and the Giants seem to respond to the event of opening day. This is the 57th opening day that the Giants have had here in the great city of San Francisco. They're 35-21 lifetime on these games, and especially since they've moved here to AT&T, they've been very dominant. 11-3 in the first 14. They've won their last 5. With all those numbers being said, it is an event. It is fun. It's a family reunion, and today they give the ball to Tim Hudson to try and put another win on the board.
Tim Hudson, the home opener pitcher here today. What a great ceremony prior to the first pitch. When we come back, we're going to give you the lineups, and you will see that very first pitch. And we'll have all of that right after this.
Tim Hudson has taken the field, so have the Giants. We mentioned it was a gorgeous day. Our game time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open for spring break, April 12th through the 20th. 73 degrees here at the yard. Very light winds, hardly any winds at all. Humidity is high, and it is hazy, but it is beautiful. The Diamondbacks come in with a record of 2-7 as you see Gerardo Parra getting ready to hit. He is at the top of the lineup, and he will lead things off. Follow Parra will be Aaron Hill and then Paul Goldschmidt. Martin Prado, the cleanup hitter, followed by Montero and then Trumbo, who's been hot. Look out. He's got 5 big flies this year. Owings, Pollock, and Cahill will round out the lineup.
On the hill today for the Giants will be Tim Hudson, the newly acquired starter of the Giants rotation. And what a great out he's been. His first out in 7 2/3 strong, just 3 hits allowed against these very same Diamondbacks, no walks and 7 strikeouts. And when you face Hudson, you're going to see 2 types of fastball, 2-seam, 4-seam. He'll throw you a curveball, slider, and 2 types of off-speed pitch, a split and a circle change.
First pitch of the ball game is on its way to Parra, and it is down low. So we get underway at 136.
Temperature 73 degrees.
Parra overall hitting .229. In at third is Sandoval. And a call strike at the knees. The home plate umpire is Jim Reynolds.
And Jim Reynolds has got a pretty small strike zone, but it's consistent. It doesn't bounce around, but he can be tight.
And the 1-1 delivery to Parra. A swing and a foul. It's 1-2. I mentioned Reynolds. It'll be Barber, Colbrith, and Gonzalez from first to third. Colbrith is the crew chief. I remember him like yesterday, like when he was a rook. The 1-2. So Hudson trying to freeze Parra, but he just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tried that front door sinker just a little bit low, perhaps. You see Hudson do that a lot against left-handed hitters.
Up the middle, and a base hit for Parra, and that's how this game gets started.
Let's take a look at the defense playing behind Tim Hudson today for the Giants, starting in their outfield from left to right. It'll be Morse, Pagan, and Pence. Crawford and Sandoval will patrol the left side of the infield. Hicks and Bell on the right side, and Buster Posey will be in the squad, putting down the signs.
And that'll bring to the plate Aaron Hill. Hill is at .278. He's got 3 runs batted in. Swing and a miss, 0-1. He's 2 for 10 in his career against Tim Hudson.
Now, Hudson's had great success against these Diamondbacks. Lifetime 8-1 with a 1.99 ERA. So that is ownage. Looking for a ground ball right here to get a double play.
Parra goes. Pitches low. The throw down to second. And they got him. Parra didn't even slide.
The beauty of Tim Hudson is he's going to give Buster Posey or anybody else who's catching him a chance to throw out a runner. Very quick home. Buster Posey just a rock back step and throw. And that from Gerardo Parra, that's a little egg on your face. When you're so far out you can't slide. That was not a good idea to go.
I think he took a peek, Mike, going down to second, so you would think that maybe that was a hit and run.
The lack of jump. I got to believe it.
Let's see if he took a peek.
And there's the peak you're talking about. Hit and run runners will peak. A lot of Steelers, base Steelers, will just stay focused to the bag. They won't often look.
So the 1-2 to Hill, and Hill is out swinging, 2 down.
Big changeup with movement coming to the back foot of Aaron Hill, and he gets him to swing over the top. Time now for our Nissan keys to the game, and for Tim Hudson, knee-high command. He is a guy that is consistent to that knee-high location. That's where he gets all of his sink and all of his movement. And you got another sinker ball on the other side of the field in Trevor Cahill. Make him elevated. How do you hit a sinker baller? You make him get it up. And those are our Nissan keys to the game.
So here's Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt takes down low. He's off to a good start. He's 14 for 35. That works out to a .400 average. He's got 1 home run. He hit that off of Tim Lincecum in Arizona. Swinging a foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. Goldschmidt lifetime against Hudson. He's got 3 doubles lifetime, 4 hits in 14 at bats. See the good looking crowd of a sellout, as you would expect. And the 1-1 delivery. Bounce to Crawford. Crawford stays with it, throws it, side retired. Hudson with a quick inning. Cahill coming out. Giants coming up. Down Arizona in the top of the first. Bottom of the first. Giants coming up, and here's their lineup. Pretty standard for Bruce Bochy. It'll be Pagan and then Belt. See Belt with 4 home runs at the start of the season. Sandoval third, then Posey and Pence. Morris is going to hit in the 6th slot. Crawford 7th, and then Brandon Hicks gets a start against Cahill, a right-hander, and Hudson will bat 9th.
On the hill today for the Arizona Diamondbacks will be Trevor Cahill, the sinker baller. Take a look at what he has done this year against the Giants. The Giants beat him. He didn't pitch poorly, just gave up a couple of runs, but it was too many as he was flat out outpitched. For Cahill, rather, he's going to see a fastball that'll go low mid-90s. He can also take a little speed off it, but he'll be a lot of 2-seam fastballs with big-time sink. He'll 4-seam as well. He'll throw a cutter, a curveball, a slider, a changeup, but for the most part, he wants to put the ball on the ground, and you're going to see a lot of sinkers. It's a good one.
So here's Pagan, and Pagan takes wide. Pagan off to a terrific start. He's hitting .419. He's got a home run. He's got 8 driven in. And here he looks at a strike. He's had 21 at bats against Cahill lifetime with 8 hits.
Cahill's a big guy, 6'4", 225-pounder. He's 26 years old in his 6th year at the big league level.
They're going to foul. That got the foot of Montero. It's 1-2. Diamondbacks are just coming off a trip in Colorado where they lost 2 of 3. Pagan dribbles it foul. It remains 1-2. D-backs are 1-5 at home and 1-4 on the road. Remember, the 2 games in Australia were considered home games, which is a bit odd considering it's about 4 million miles away from Chase Field.
Well,
1-2 pitch. 2-2. Ooh.
Good pitch. He thought he had him. That's another example of the front door sinker that both pitchers will use today. Fastball for Cahill and the fastball for Hudson, both very similar in the big time sinking movement. And that could have been called a strike.
3-2.
You figure to see a lot of ground ball today with the sinker ballers. But the way this ballpark's playing, if it gets up in the air, look out. You're seeing about as much carry as you'll ever see at AT&T. There's very little wind, and it's warm down there on the field.
Payoff pitch. And Pagan takes the walk.
Let's take a look at the defense that the Diamondbacks will employ behind Trevor Cahill. Starting in the D-backs outfield, it'll be Trumbo, Pollock, and Parra. Best arm in right field with Parra. Owings and Prado on the left side of the infield. Hill and Goldschmidt on the right side. And Miguel Montero will be in the squad, putting down the signs.
So here's Belt. Belt takes high. 10 for 31 on the season for Belt. 4 of those 10 hits home runs. He's got 7 runs batted in. Pagan with his lead. And Belt hits a high foul down the left field line and out of play. And the last home run he hit was the one he hit Sunday.
Well, and he did it at 2-strike count, which, you know, he's done that a lot this year. I mean, his swing is one that really doesn't change 2-0 or 0-2. It's very quick, compact, and it's got plenty of strength in the barrelhead. That was the first run the Giants were able to score off Zach Greinke.
Montero had an idea that Pagan was going to go. And it's low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Just underway here at AT&T Park. Belt hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. He's done it again. And it's 2-0 Giants. Home run number 5 on the year for Belt.
And he, with one swing of the bat, just got this place rocking.
You hit him here, that's a big boy home run. So here's Sandoval. Sandoval takes down low.
Well, you always say try and get the sinker baller up. This was one that was down and in, and Belt just golfs it right out of here. On a day that's good for home runs, he takes advantage of it. There's only been 34 home runs in the last 14 seasons hit to right field over the wall by right-handed hitters. They could do it today, especially a guy like Michael Morse.
We talked about that before the game. Buster Posey's got 2 to the opposite field. There's the big fly.
And that's our first look from our splash camera.
A 3-0 strike to Sandoval. Sandoval ropes one into right field, a base hit.
Now Sandoval came into this game hitting $148, but it was the hardest 148 in the major leagues. And he very soon is going to start having a few of those things start falling, and that was one of them.
So here's Buster Posey. Here's the home run by Bell. Watch the reaction in New York City Infinities. We're talking about.
They're ringing the bell.
Drinks on Jarrett. 2 balls and no strikes.
My son is there.
Here's Posey. Posey takes low. 1 ball and no strikes. 2-0 Giants. Pence to follow. This is the 4th opener for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And a strike to Posey to make it 2-1. Buster Posey, lifetime against Cahill, 6 for 17, a double and a home run, as he takes a long look to Tim Flannery.
With that fastball that Cahill throws, comes into a right-handed hitter, and you get a guy like Posey who's got an inside-out approach. I mean, that really is a fastball he should like.
Cahill going after Posey, 3-1. On the ground at third, it could be a pair. Prado to Hill to Goldschmidt, 2 down, and that's what you'll get out of Cahill. He'll look like he's in trouble, and then he'll just get a double play ball.
Yeah, the life of a sinker baller, and it's a good one. One ground ball away from getting a couple outs and out of a jam. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, think about the scenario for Cahill. He just gives up a home run, a base at the Sandoval, and he's 3-0 to Posey. Well, here's Pence. Hunter Pence hit a home run on Sunday night in LA off of Zach Greinke. There's a belt tie strike. Michael Morse on deck. A one hopper dug out nicely by Montero. 1 ball and 1 strike. I mentioned that series in Denver where Arizona lost 2 of 3.
You talk about catchers sometime and how they'll just let their hands think for themselves. There was a one hopper the previous pitch. Watch Montero. Whoop! Not a problem. Right in the sweet spot. Now look from behind. Just stick it out, and it's going to find that glove. I don't know how they do it.
It's got some wear and tear, that catcher's mitt. Here's the 1-2 to Pence. Pence takes low. The Diamondbacks lost the first 2 games in that series in Denver, and then they won on Sunday 5-3. It was a Miley victory. And Pence is gone, and that'll end the inning. A walk and then a home run by Brandon Belt. And it's bye-bye baby. Here at AT&T Park, Giants 2, Diamondbacks 0.
17th, and Tuesday, April 15th, and Wednesday, April 16th are both 7:15 games. The first 20,000 fans attending the game on the 16th will receive a Giants 2014 Magnet schedule, courtesy of Remax. Final game of the series, Thursday, May 17th, will be day baseball in the city with a 12:35 start. To purchase tickets, go to sfgiants.com/tickets.
Giants 2, Diamondbacks nothing. Here's Martin Prado. And Prado looks at a pitch low and away. City 216 with 4 runs batted in. He's 8 for 37 on the season. And he shoots this one back up the middle for a base hit. For this home opener, Amy G's here. Amy?
All right, Dwayne and Mike, it's a great story. I'm talking about Brandon Hicks, from non-roster invitee to starting second baseman at the Giants home opener. I spent some time with Brandon before today's game. He said he's super excited to get the nod, but he's also very satisfied because he's had some hiccups in his major league career. He also said he cannot become complacent. It's early on. He needs to keep his edge. And skipper Bruce Bochy, well, he said he earned this spot and this start with great play in spring and on the road trip. Gentlemen?
Indeed he did. Montero takes low in the dirt, backhanded by Buster Posey.
Second inning in a row that the Diamondbacks have gotten that leadoff hitter on. But as we saw with Cahill, who got out of a jam with one pitch, that's kind of been Tim Hudson's reputation ever since he came into the big leagues 15 years ago.
And that's fouled at home plate. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Talking about the movement on the fastball, Hudson. That's what hitters talk about during the course of the ball game. They talk about what they're seeing out there from the opposing pitcher. They'll track sequences that a pitcher will throw, what he'll throw in certain situations, what he's pitching for, what is he throwing when he's trying to get a ground ball, what's he throwing when he's trying to get a strikeout. Plus, they pretty much have a pretty good knowledge of it going into the game anyway, with all the information that they're given to statistically before the game.
1-2 to Montero.
But then once you get in that batter's box, it's all about execution. You still have to hit a 90-mile-an-hour sinker, and that's not easy. Plus, you have to hit it off a guy like Hudson, who's got 6 things he can do with the ball, and that's not easy. That's why they call it the big leagues.
Two and two. Two balls, 2 strikes. Miguel Montero. And that one got away from Hudson.
Let's take a look at the grips that Tim Hudson will use. The base, always the 4-seam fastball. And then the 2-seam fastball, where you align your fingers the same line. He offsets that just a little bit. You can see the thumbs underneath the forefinger. That gives him his sink. And then here's the cutter. He just sort of bulges the ball and puts the thumb underneath the middle finger. And there's the spike curveball he'll throw, like a lot of guys use. And then there's the changeup, a circle change. Not a full circle because he puts the thumb underneath the ball. And this is a split. Not many guys throw both a split and a changeup, but Hudson does. Each pitch has different movement, and he'll use it against certain swing times.
Here's Trumbo on the ground to Sandoval. Sandoval to Hicks. Hicks slings it past Belt and into the seats, and a run's going to come in.
Here the Shows put out those 5-4, 3-4. Obviously, run the score and run the advance.
Well, ball hit sharply. It looked like it was going to be pretty much a no-brainer. And right here, I don't know if Hicks had a bad grip or what, but he one-hops Belt badly, and he cannot come up with it. That's our X Moments, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer.
Well, it's about the first mistake that he's made this year, including all the games he played in spring training. And a strike call now to Owings. So it's a big instead of.
A chance to talk to him a little bit about his start today. He was pretty excited, as you can imagine. Start the home opener. That's a special day. There was big time competition for the shortstop job this year at Diamondbacks spring training between Didi Gregorius, last year's incumbent shortstop, and Chris Owings. But when all the dust settled, it really wasn't much of a contest. Owings won the job hands down. And a lot of people in Arizona think this guy's going to be a really good player in this league. It's off to a nice start.
That sails inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. So Trumbo at second base. 2-2.
That's the strike he wants to get. That sinker right at the base of the strike zone. If he gets an umpire to give that pitch consistently, he's going to get a lot of ground balls because he will pound the knees as good as any pitcher in the National League.
Foul back. So Hudson gets a new baseball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Belt in foul territory, and Belt will make the catch. And that'll bring up Pollock with first base open. A.J. Pollock 1 for 6 in his career against Hudson. The one hit a home run. And a challenge fastball. If you're the 8th place hitter with a guy in scoring position, I would think that maybe that first pitch might be a pretty good pitch to swing at.
He just lost an opportunity right there. And Pollock's a middle-in guy. That was right to his wheelhouse.
High into right center field. It'll be Pagan calling off Pence, and that'll end the inning. Giants pick up or make that the D-backs pick up a run. It's the Giants 2 and the D-backs 1.
Bay Area is brought to you by the Solar Company. Not just any solar company, the Solar Company. Switch to solar and save.
2-1 Giants as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. Absolutely stunning day, or opening day 2014, the 15th opening day in this gorgeous ballpark. And just like the previous 14, sold out, and the attitude could not be any better.
It wasn't that long ago Kirk Reeder threw the very first pitch in this ballpark. It was not a home run hit by Kevin Elster on the first pitch. He did that later.
And he would hit 3 that day.
Morse takes a called strike. It'll be Morse, Crawford, and Hicks.
Saw the career numbers that Michael Morse had against Trevor Cahill. 2 for 6, but those 2 hits, a double and a home run. So that's semi-ownage.
Certainly in the extra base department. Crawford watching from the on-deck circle. Swing and a miss. 2-2 if you just joined us. Brandon Belt hit his 5th home run of the year in the first inning.
Yeah, the last Giant to hit 5 home runs in the first 8 games is Jose Cruz Jr. in 2003.
Morris out swinging. Good curveball. Think about Cahill and most sinker ballers. Got to get them early, otherwise they'll settle in.
Most home runs through 8 games in the San Francisco era. Willie Mays, 6. And there you see the logjam at 5 with Jose Cruz Jr., Barry Bonds, Kevin Mitchell, the baby bull Orlando Cepeda, and now Brandon Belt puts his name in the club.
Well, he's got 3 or 4 more at bats just to fly by Mays. There's Crawford up the middle and a base hit, and he needed that.
Well, he got a good pitch to hit. And Cahill, a sinker ball, he will make mistakes up above the belt, and that is one of the things that the Diamondbacks want to see him improve upon. Knee-high consistency, he just doesn't have it. He's got the movement. He's got big sink, but when you elevate in the strike zone, it becomes very hittable, and that has been a problem for him.
Here's Hicks. Hicks is 4 for 9 with a home run. He hit a home run in Arizona. And he looks at a strike, and it's 0-1. This is his first lifetime at bat against Trevor Cahill. Blown away, 1 ball and 1 strike. Hudson to follow, and then Pagan. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
That curveball's for real. The same pitch he struck out Michael Morse on. Traditionally, most sinker ballers are guys that prefer to throw sliders with that sinker. But with Cahill, it's a little different. He's got a slider, but he'll also throw the big curveball, and it's a good strikeout pitch, especially the lefties.
Hicks recognized that early, and he takes it, and it's 2-2. Looks like Crawford's thinking about it at first. Got him on a fastball. Hicks is out looking, and a snap throw, and Crawford's back.
Back toward him in the outside corner. You know the movement from a sinker baller, if he's right-handed to a right-handed hitter, is a fastball that has movement's going to come back to you. That's why if he starts a pitch on the outside corner, you got to stay with it because it'll come back into the zone. And Cahill really painted that outside corner. Nice pitch.
So here's Hudson, 0 for 2 on the season. But he can hit. Pagan to follow should Hudson reach. Giants with 4 hits in the game. 1 has left the park. Actually 3 hits in the game. 1 has left the park, and that was the home run by Belt. Up the middle. Owings is there. He'll shovel it to Hill, and that'll end the inning. No runs, a hit, 1 left through 2. Giants 2, D-backs 1.
Giants lead 2-1, and talk about a power surge. Fans just witnessed Brandon Belt hit his 5th home run on the season in the first inning. But on the last road trip, guys, you saw it. The Giants combined for 11 home runs, and here's another fun little factoid. This season, the Giants hit 10 home runs in 7 games. Last season, it took them 18 games. It must be fun to watch, guys.
Fun to watch. Fun to call. And the hitter will be Cahill. Cahill is 0 for 2 on the season. And a call strike, and it's 0-1. Parra to follow. And then Aaron Hill. Top of the 3rd inning. Hudson will take his time, knowing Cahill's running. Let's take a look back at the ballparks the Giants called home from 1960 to 1999. That would, of course, be Candlestick. Thursday, April 10th at 7:15. Farewell to the Stick Night presented by State Farm. The first 20,000 fans are going to get a Go Giants The Stick, a commemorative scarf. Now, there are some tickets available. So, to get those tickets, go to sfgiants.com/tickets. 6.2 miles from here. Parra opened up the game with a base hit. Here he takes the pitch high and wide. 1 ball and no strikes. 2-0. Hill to follow. On a play, you look around this ballpark, and it is evident that there are some people that have got lots of orange in their closet.
That's true. Hey, if you're a fan here in San Francisco, you got to strap your uni on and head to the yard. Come on. And I think they all have.
Morris shading his eyes with his glove, and he'll make the catch. 2 outs. Some valuable orange property.
Yeah, those were fun years. 2 great stories. Wow.
Here's Hill. Hill struck out on the first. And he takes low. This lineup, you go up and down and you can see the very good hitters. They've got power. Bob Brumley was saying that 3-game series in Colorado where they took on the Rockies, he said that lineup's got some sock. Hit foul on the ground.
Whoa. Our ball dude, Rick Bellison, over there on the third base side. He needs to put that glove on his knee. Watch the right knee. Boom. Whoa.
Guarantee you, Rick's a hockey guy.
Yeah. He hasn't rubbed it yet.
He hasn't rubbed it yet. You think it's about to happen?
That was a direct hit. I got it. Watch the knee.
Yep.
Pooh.
Tell you what he's doing. He's covering up the right spot, though.
Yeah. I don't think he's got a cup on, so I think that was the whole idea.
Got him. Oh, my goodness.
Game 1 here, and our ball dudes have already stole the show.
Yeah.
Nice going,
well,
Rich.
it's in the notes here about Rick. It says attended 50 games last season and never wore a cup. So there you go. Three and 2 to Hill. Got him for the second time. Pagan's going to lead things off. It's 2-1 Giants. Geico quote, it's a simple one, and it's from Gaylord Perry. And Gaylord says, the trouble with baseball is that it's not played year-round.
I can't argue with that.
Oh, yeah, he's a pitcher. A starting pitcher.
He plays once every 5 days. Come on.
But he makes a good point. So Pagan's going to lead things off. He led off the bottom of the first for the Giants with a walk.
Off to a great start, Kipe. And the one thing that he has consistently done is stay in the strike zone and swings at good pitches. If you go back and look at the graph of the pitches that he has hit for base hits, look where they are. They're all in the strike zone. Only twice has he gone out of the zone, once below the zone, once above. For the most part, getting good pitches to hit, that's been his key. You stay in that zone all year, you're going to light it up. Big league pitchers want you to follow their movement out of the strike zone and chase. And Pagan has been very disciplined not to do that.
Pagan taking the 2-0 pitch for a strike. It's 2-1.
That's the one thing a lot of hitting instructors have always said. Get a good pitch to hit.
Pagan goes to the gap. Nobody's going to get it. Pollock picks it up, gets it back in. A double for Angel Pagan.
You talk about a thing of beauty. We're going to make that our fourth right choice. You know, a lot of young hitters out there. You watch a guy who has great coverage of the outer half. This is a fastball that's moving away from Pagan. If he tries to pull that ball, he rolls it over and it's a ground ball to second base. He stays locked in and he drives that thing and actually backspins at the opposite gap. I mean, how dialed is he? This is as good as it gets right here. That's our forward right choice.
So here's Belt. Belt, base hit right field. Pagan is going to be held up because of that. A laser thrown in by Parra. And with nobody out, why send Pagan? Runners at first and third.
Now, Trevor Cahill is not really a strikeout guy. I mean, he's more of a contact guy. So if you're Tim Flannery, I mean, you're not going to run the risk of losing Pagan. Not to take on one of the best arms in baseball in right field. Ronald Parra, a two-time Gold Glover. I mean, he's got a cannon, and it's always accurate.
Plus, you throw out Pagan, and all of a sudden the momentum goes to the Diamondbacks. So here's Sandoval, who singled in the first. Ball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Sandoval, a high pop-up down the left field line. It's Trumbo who's going to make the catch. And he flips it back in. So Cahill gets the first big out.
Well, it just wears on an RBI guy. They run at third, less than 2 outs, and you can't get him in. That is a long walk back to the dugout.
Plus now with a sinker baller, hey, with 1 out, you can get out of the jam quick. Buster Posey hit the ball hard, but it ended up being a 5-4-3 double play. And he pulls it on the ground foul.
All right, Rich. Whoa! Well,
so Rich brought rollerblades out to the yard?
I think so. All right, let's watch him. I got this one. I'm going to do better. He
covered it up again.
He's not breaking that glove in, but he's broken his kneecap and he's broken his wrist. Little backdoor sinker.
You see a good look at the defense and how they're playing Buster Posey straight away in the outfield. One and two. Pagan at third. Belt at first. And Posey just got enough to get it out of play. Remains 1-2.
Nice 1-2 curveball. Curveball's been a good pitch for Trevor Cahill.
Posey into center field. He's got a base hit. Coming in to score is Pagan, and it's 3-1. Nice at bat. Cahill threw the kitchen sink at him.
That's a killer. And then he did not hang that sinker either. He threw that thing almost shoot top high. And Buster Posey just beat him on his best pitch. I mean, a ball that low, Trevor Cahill's figuring that's going to be a ball that gets beat in the dirt. And let's take a look at our Exmo, our Toyota Exmo, as he goes down, beats good sink, comes up with an RBI, keeps this inning going.
So here's Pence, 3 hits in the inning. And Pence takes in tight, 1-0. So Pagan doubles to open up the inning, and he scores. Now it's Belt at second and Posey at first. Two and 0. Pence licking his chops on this 2-0 pitch. Hits it on the ground, foul.
Manny Gonzalez, the third base umpire, making the call. And how foul was it? No brainer call.
Three and 1. Wow, take a look at that number.
First in the National League, first in baseball, hitting a cool 370 with runners in scoring position. It's kind of how the Cardinals got it done last year with numbers like that all year.
Pence rolls it slowly to third. They get one there, and that's all they'll get. So Morris will hit with runners at the corners. So here's Morris, who struck out in the second. A run in for the Giants, trying to add more. Swing and a miss.
Talking about getting good pitches to hit.
That's an opening day.
Wow, he's got a pretty good picture to paint.
Down and in, 1 ball and 1 strike. Good view of the Bay Bridge as it jets into Treasure Island. Yep. Bunting. Pence goes. No throw. A steal for Pence. And for Pence's first of the year. So now Morris has got 2 men in scoring position.
Kirk Gibson talking it over with his bench coach, Alan Trammell. I think he's saying we need to do a better job of holding guys on with 2 outs. That's a big 90 feet.
In on the hands of Morris. It's 2-2.
That's something I wish I could do. I wish I could paint. Looks like fun.
I struggle with paint by numbers. I'm telling you, he's doing the bunting. 2-2 pitch. On the ground, into right field. Belt scores. Here's the throw home. Pence scores. And Morris comes through. And now that stolen base really hurts the D-back.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A little thing like not holding a runner on. Hunter Pitts takes advantage of it. Here's the reward for that hustle. And Michael Morris with a 2-strike swing of the bat that puts 2 more runs on the board. And the Giants have themselves a crooked inning. A crooked number 3 going up. Just nice opposite field hitting. And that's the one thing with Michael Morris that impressed Hensley Mullins, the Giants hitting instructor. See, he's got power, but he will make adjustments within his at-bat. Take swing out and try and take what a defense or a pitcher's giving him. And that was an example of it. There's Sir Bam Bam. Take a look at this inside-out approach. Slight leg kick. And watch the whole right side come through it. Just stay inside with the hands in front of that barrelhead. Just a beautiful swing of the bat, and that'll make you want to headbutt your first base coach.
So here's Crawford, who singled in the second. Let's see Kirk Gibson get the bullpen moving. Is that Roland Smith?
Ryan Roland Smith, big left-hander, starting to get heated up. You saw that graphic that showed the distribution of hits and where Morris hits him. Using the whole field. So what a hitter strives for.
Two and one to Crawford. Foul. How about the kid who threw out the first pitch?
That kid, what a tremendous story that has been for that young man, for the city of San Francisco, and to have him out here today.
It was awesome. Came down the left field line in the Batmobile.
Well, let's go, Bat Kid.
And Crawford out looking to end the inning. Giants pick up 3 on 4 hits. It's 5-1 San Francisco. Nice job. Here's our McDonald's True Stories and this date in Giants history. That's right. In 1986, on this date, the kid, Will Clark, homered off of Nolan Ryan in his first major league at bat. It was his debut. And what did he do? He goes to the toughest part of that ballpark, maybe the toughest part of any park, and he hits a home run off of Nolan Ryan.
Well, we couldn't believe it. And that's back when it was big news if you could hit it out to left field as a right-handed pull hitter. To go center field, it was just unheard of. Off Nolan Ryan? Come on.
Here's Goldschmidt, who takes a strike. And a base hit over Crawford. Goldschmidt maybe going for two. He's thinking about it. Here's the throw, and he's going to make it.
Hey, Goldschmidt is a big guy. And you look at him, and you just don't think he's a base stealer. And you don't even think about speed. But last year, he had 15 stolen bases, and he will take that extra 90 feet. As soon as he sees an outfielder turn his shoulder, see something hitting the gap, he's gone. He sets himself up with good hustle down the line, and here he goes.
So here's Prado, who singled in the second. Through the 4 innings now, the Diamondbacks have had their leadoff hitter on. Prado takes a strike. You do that, and all of a sudden your starting pitcher's in the stretch immediately. .73 degrees on first pitch, although it feels warmer than that. Some humidity in the air. Low. All right. Gamer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's an opening day outfit right there.
Now, that's how Will Clark looked in 1986, that expression.
Yep. Look, he's got his gamer babe. A couple of cold ones.
When you interviewed Will, that's how he looked.
Still does.
Pass belt into right field, a base hit. Goldschmidt will hold at third. So Hudson now in trouble with runners at the corners and nobody out. So I think the D-backs are going to go away. Think again.
Well, they're pressing in their dugout. I mean, they're off to a 2-7 start. They are in the midst of the worst start they've ever had.
Here's Montero. I guess if you're Hudson now, you not so much worry about that guy at third. You just try to limit the damage.
Well, he'd gladly give up a run to get a double play right here. It's the beauty of a 4-run lead.
Foul. Dave McKay showing how quick he has stayed.
There's Molly Cabanero, our ball babe on the first base side. Second generation ball babe. But so far, there's the show, there's the star of the show, Rick Bellison.
0-2. Yeah, I mean it's a bit ironic with our ball dudes. You don't become the star if you catch all the balls hit to you.
No.
You become the star if you don't.
He's first team all league right now after his performance so far, and I think he's going to get some more work. He's just got that look.
Change the sight lines on Montero. It's 1-2.
Yeah, he's pitching for the strikeout. A little elevate right there. Now you go back foot slider, or you go a little sinker off the plate outside. Montero is in a funk right now, and he is completely all over the place chasing everything. And that's when you can take advantage of a guy. He does not have to throw a strike here. Good chance Montero will swing.
Out of play. In on the hands. Next pitch for Hudson will be number 50. See a nice catch. Oh yeah, get a nice hug and a nice kiss and get your picture taken. Meet new friends.
Put the phone down, meet.
Yeah, now sit down. See, the lady said, hey, high five. Sit down.
Grab some pie.
Oh. Get comfortable. 1-2 to Montero. Sit into center field. Pagan is going to go back. He's going to track it down. Tagging is Goldschmidt, and it's 5-2.
Nice at bat. Get that sac fly against a sinker ball on a 2-strike count. You've done your job.
So here's Trumbo.
And he has been on fire.
It looked like Trumbo was going to hit into a double play, but Hicks uncorked a bad throw to Belt. It gave the Diamondbacks their first run. So Trumbo now at the plate. 1 on, 1 in. At the knees, and it's 0-1.
13 RBIs already for Trumbo. Coming over from the American League, the National League, he's definitely hit the comfort zone quickly. See Chris Owings, the shortstop, chalking up.
Hudson moves him back off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. This is the 3rd day game today. The Brewers are beating Philadelphia in Philadelphia 6-2 in the 5th. And the other game was played at Yankee Stadium. And a little blocked off. I cannot quite see what the score is in that one.
The Yankees did not have a good day today. They got beat 14-5 in New York on their home opener.
2 balls and a strike. Hit out to left. It's going to be Morris. It's a scary swing, isn't it?
It is. See why people like him. Well, it's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag CSNBA fan photo. Name and hometown for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. You can do that. And it's all brought to you by AT&T. John Miller today took a selfie.
He did? Come on.
Yeah, he went out there to do the pregame announcing of the lineups, and before he got started, took his phone out, took a selfie of everybody in the stands, and said, "You're all in it. It's the thing to do these days."
Here's Owings. Owings lines it to center, and Pagan's going to make the running catch to end the inning. There's John. There he is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Giants lead 5-2.
property of the San Francisco Giants and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
Well, the Colorado Rockies are coming to AT&T Park this weekend, April 11th through the 13th. Friday, a 7:15 start. And stick around for a post-game fireworks show presented by Hanwha. A limited number of tickets are still available for all 3 weekend Rockies games. So go to sfgiants.com and get your tickets.
Here's Hicks to lead it off. Hicks struck out looking in the second. Bruce Bochy starting Brandon Hicks against a right-hander. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Giants 5 runs on 7 hits. The Diamondbacks 2 runs on 4 hits. Hicks takes it in the dirt. 2-1. Game 1 of 81 here in this ballpark. And then everybody hoping that there'll be quite a few more after that. 2-2 to Hicks. A little hectic for everybody. The home opener. Things are back to normal tomorrow night. Rolled foul. But that's not meant to sound negative. We absolutely look forward to this day.
Oh, it's a fun day. It just means so many things. And the attitude around this ballpark this morning, and I'm talking early, around 6:30, is just off the charts. Homecoming, big party.
Did you walk the dog at 6:30?
I did. Well, my wife.
Dog walked you?
My wife today. She did it, but I was out there in the patio having a cup of coffee, just feeling the vibe. The Cove is set.
Hicks out looking for the second time. I'm not sure he's buying it.
Now, Trevor Cahill got a gift right there from plate umpire Jim Reynolds. Now, he's a low ball umpire, but this is a little too low. 5 strikeouts now for Cahill, and 4 of the 5 strikeouts have been called strike threes.
Here's Hudson, who takes a strike. So a quick 0-2 to Hudson with Pagan on deck. Right back to where it came from. Hudson's retired. So this will give Hudson a chance to get back in the dugout and get off his feet. Doesn't sound like much, but when you're 38, you take it when you can get it.
Yeah, 38, you definitely take your time getting back.
Pagan looks at a strike, and Pagan taking the pitch, allowing Hudson to catch his breath. Pagan has walked and he's doubled and he's scored twice. The only out that any of the first 3 hitters have made is Sandoval popped out to left in the 3rd. Belt is 2 for 2. Sandoval is 1 for 2. And Pagan is 2 for 2. And now that's 3 straight at bats where he's been aboard.
Stay hot. Boy, another good pitch to hit. Now earlier, first inning, one on, nobody out, and Brandon Belt did this. Went down and golfed a front door sinker that just hung right there on the inside corner. And this is how Brandon Belt got everybody in AT&T and Infinities in New York into this game.
Kirk Gibson out, new pitcher. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. We'll be back.
New pitcher now for the Diamondbacks will be Ryan Roland Smith. Roland Smith, you see what he has done. The fourth game that he's come into. 3 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts in 3 innings. He's going to give you your basic 4. He's a high 80s pitcher with a curveball, slider, and a changeup. 31 years old, his 4th year at the big league level. Most of his big league time has been with Seattle. Diamondback signed him as a minor league free agent last November and came to the camp this year, had a good camp, and made the team. Is that Moose Man?
Come on.
We have not seen him for 20 years.
Maybe Moose Man's kid. Belt is 2 for 2, a 2-run home run and a single. He scored twice. We'll know if we get a close-up shot because we signed those antlers. Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
No, it's not it.
No. It's the new, improved Moose Man.
Pagan scoots back.
I mean, it is a steal situation here for Pagan.
Outside the Belt. Off the line to third is Prado. Owing, shading Belt. Very close to the bag at second. Obviously not an overshift, but they are playing Belt to pull. In tight, 2 balls and no strikes. Giants 5, D-backs 2. Home half of the 4th inning. He's 3-0.
He's nibbling. And I don't blame him, as hot as Belt has been.
There's a strike. 3-1. If you Belt, and you think that maybe the umpire missed that, oh well.
Well, definitely expanding the zone here with a 3-0 count. I don't have a problem with that.
Or expanded 3-1.
Well, a 3-0 pitcher's pitch and a 3-1 pitcher's pitch.
Well, do me a favor, will you? Let me know when you stop having a problem with it.
Well, I mean, that one right there is a gift. You saw the target was set in the outside corner, and Montero had to reach back across his body to get an inside corner. You don't normally get those.
Belt hits a high fly ball to right. It'll be in the park for Parra, and that'll end the inning. Through 4 here at AT&T Park. Giants 5, Diamondbacks 2. Pitching matchup that is for tomorrow night. It'll be Bronson Arroyo for the D-backs, Tim Lincecum for the Giants. The numbers for Arroyo in 15 games, he's got a 5-5 lifetime record against the Giants, but his ERA is fabulous. Lincecum 24 games, he's 8-8, and his ERA at 3.58. You can join us right here in Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Giants pregame live at 6:30, and then you'll have game 2 of this series. Arroyo, Lincecum, and here's A.J. Pollock. Hudson would like to get the first out. He's only done it once, and that came in the 3rd inning when Cahill bounced out.
A lot of low strikes called and kind of upset everybody in the Giants bench except for one guy, and that would be Tim Hudson. He likes those low strikes.
Pollock 0 for 1. He had a fly ball to Pagan in the 2nd inning. Got a piece, and he got a piece of Buster Posey. Buster's body language telling you that I really like playing short in college.
You just sort of resign yourself that you're going to get 1 or 2 a game. Let's see where it hit him.
So I don't think this hit him in a good spot at all.
Yep. No.
Well, our ball dude Rick would know what that feels. Well, no, he wouldn't. He's got that glove protecting him down the left field line.
Well, right now, our ball dude leads the league in bruises.
And the Diamondbacks are going to do it again. A leadoff single.
That's 4 out of 5 innings they've been able to get that leadoff hitter on. A nice 2-strike at bat there for Pollock. Well, time to log on to csnbayarea.com and decide the player of the game. Your vote counts. Winner will be revealed during Giants postgame live. Follow the action on the Diamond like never before with the enhanced Bloomberg stats and more. Giants in-game live on csnbayarea.com. Log on now and vote.
Roland Smith at the plate. He's going to at least show bunt. And he's going to take a strike, and it's 0-1. Sandoval and Belt came charging hard down their respective lines. It's no balls and 1 strike. Parra to follow. And Roland Smith bunts through that. It's 0-2. It's kind of the area that you'd like the pitch to be at if you're going to lay down a bunt. You like those sinker ballers to keep that ball down low, and that's where it was. And he got him. And that may have been the very first time Roland Smith has ever tried to bunt.
He needs to improve upon the technique. Got a little jabby there with the bat head, and it's not the way you want to do it. You want to make that bat head get real soft, and as soon as you start jabbing like that, even if you make contact, you're not going to deaden the ball. It's going to go back to somebody who quite possibly could get it out at second base and double you up. But it goes in the books as a strikeout.
So here's Parra. Parra is single, and he's flied out to left. Swing and a miss. Pull the string on him. No balls and 1 strike. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Back-to-back changeups. It's really hard to see the difference between his changeup and split. The split will have movement that runs away from a lefty, but it really is almost impossible to tell which one he's throwing from behind. But both effective off-speed pitches, as witnessed by what we've seen from the 2 swing over the tops by Parra.
And he goes up top, and this is hit out to Pagan in center field. And Pagan will make the catch. Pretty effective way of changing the sight lines. You get a guy that's watched 3 or 4 pitches go right around your shoe tops, and you get a high fastball, and it looks pretty good to hit.
It really is an effective pitch. Especially for guys who are hitters like Parra, who's aggressive and they'll chase.
Here's Hill. Hill has struck out twice. Down low, 1-0. And for Tim Hudson, that was pitch number 66.
Now, Giants fans are going to get used to as to how economical Hudson will be with his number of pitches. And a lot of sinker ball strike throwers are like that. They put the ball in play, they pitch to contact, and most of their contact goes on the ground.
Hit down the left field line into the corner, and it is foul. That ball never ever hooked. It stayed straight.
It's a long strike, but that really, off the crack of the bat, it was just going to be a matter of whether it was fair or foul. It had the sound, and it certainly did have the distance. And how foul was it? Right there, you're thinking it's going to hit that pole. He did not miss a 2-run homer by much.
So it's a long strike. It's 1-1. That's where Posey wanted it. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Watch that. Take a look at the fan who has the yellow and black shirt, and watch the effort he has trying to catch it. He'll come into your screen right about now. Black and yellow shirt, big guy, barehander, and the whiff. I think that guy has a future as a third base ball dude. What do you think?
Wow. In tight again. It's 3-1.
Yep, this guy right here. 0 for 1.
Pollock at first, 2 outs. Hill in the driver's seat, count-wise. Hit on the ground to Crawford. Crawford, Hicks, side retired. No runs, a leadoff single, 1 left for the Giants. It'll be Pablo Sandoval to lead off.
The ceremonial first pitch at the Giants home opener, and everyone was happy to see that it was the Bat Kid. That's right, Miles Scott, 5 years old. He is a leukemia survivor. He gained international fame last November when he got to play out his dream of being Batman for a day through Make-A-Wish Foundation. He won the hearts of everyone in the city and everyone in the world. Guys, he left today with a loot. Matt Cain signed a ball for him. He got a team-signed bat, and Sergio Romo gave his parents, Nick and Natalie, a signed cap. Everyone inspired by little Miles Scott, the Bat Kid. Guys,
the Bat Kid. Here's Sandoval. Well, I don't remember exactly when it was. It was either December or January when the whole city was taken by this kid, and it ended up being a great local story, and then it blossomed into a great national story.
Well, it's a tearjerker. I mean, that little guy, and the whole community bought into it, and it was unbelievable.
It was. November 15th, they're telling us in the truck that he took over the town. I think he had a wrestling match with Lucille. Just knocked the snot out of Lucille.
Well, that's easy to do.
Sandoval, 2-2.
You swing through a fastball like that, you're not really sure how that happened. Fastball out of the plate up, 88 miles an hour, pretty straight.
Sandoval drives it to right, but Parra barely has to move. This is what we were talking about on November 15th. He was all over town. Saved a damsel in distress. Actually, he saved Lucille after knocking the snot out of him. Lucille very happy. He ended up downtown. Here's Buster Posey, who takes a strike. But with the social media like it is today, it was all over the place. Look out, Buster Posey jumps out of the way.
Well, I mean, that's the point. Social media made that story because it got around and everybody got into it and everybody got curious and everybody wanted to be part of it. Part of convincing that little guy that he was doing something real, and he bought into it. It was heartwarming. Said wonders about the city of San Francisco, believe me.
Breaking ball misses to Buster Posey. See Larry Baer. The mayor honoring that kid. Great. Here's the 2-1 to Posey. High 3-1.
Hunter Pence getting his game face ready.
Buster Posey out of plate on the right field line. A lot of great stories around the park. Brian Stowe is here. We had a chance to see him before the game.
Brian and his mom and dad look fantastic. Great to see him out at the yard. So excited to be here at opening day.
Three and 2 to Posey with 1 out. Mr. Posey spoils a good pitch.
Well, he knows he's got to cover that low part of the zone. He saw Brandon Hicks get rung up. One was about 8 inches above the dirt. So anything that drops down below the zone right now, you better cover it.
Three and 2. And again, Posey stays alive. You saw Lon Simmons before the game.
Lon looked good.
Lon's watching the game with Stretch. Willie McCovey. Three and 2. Here it is. Another pitch to Buster Posey. Posey spoils another one.
There's Lucille.
Yeah. Posey line drive center field. Pollock barely has to move. So 2 line drives this inning.
All right, time for our Togo's big play the Togo's way. And Hunter Pence, who'd been looking for a swing, found it in Los Angeles. And folks, this one stayed hit. A high fastball that was on the outside corner from Zach Greinke, and that's the loudest home run that, of all the home runs they hit, that might have been the most impressive.
430, they said.
Yeah, to the opposite field. That's our Togo's big play the Togo's way.
Here's Pence. Madison Bumgarner asked me today in front of Pence if I thought that ball would have gone out here. I said yes. Bumgarner's like, no. And then they asked Buster, and Buster said yes. And Bumgarner said, okay. So he's gonna mess with me, right? But when Buster says yes, he was like, okay.
Buster's his catcher. He's not going to shake off his catcher.
And I don't know if that one would have made it, but he hit it good.
It would have made it. Especially on a day like today, where when the wind doesn't blow here, it will carry to right field for right-handed hitters.
So 3-0 to Pence. And Pence takes the walk.
And yes, you can walk yourself out of a slump. Early on, Hunter Pence was really pulling off the ball. He kind of lost right field. That home run that he hit in Los Angeles, all of a sudden now, He's tucked in, front shoulder solid, and he's seeing the ball better.
Nice high fastball. Here's Morse, who knocked in a pair of runs with a base hit off of Cahill in the third. And he hits a high fly ball to left. Back is Trumbo, and Trumbo's not going to get it. It bounces into the seats for a ground rule double, and Hunter Pence has to go back to third. So there aren't many parks where that's not a home run. This is a park, however, where it's a double.
Well, it's also a park where that ball should have been caught. But Trumbo having some problems seeing the ball. You can see the shadows in left field right behind Trumbo. It's this ball pretty good. It had a lot of elevation. It was just a matter of whether or not it was going to be enough to get out, because you just assumed this ball was going to get caught. It had so much hang time. But Trumbo lost it, and then he couldn't catch back up to where it was. Right there, he didn't know where it's at. See the reflection of the sun in his sunglasses. You cannot catch what you cannot see.
Nice round of applause for Morris as he comes out. There's Blanco pinch run. Here's Crawford. Crawford is singled and he struck out. He's got a chance for a couple of RBIs, and he's going to take a breaking ball down low.
Michael Morse is not hurt. You are going to see him lead most games when the Giants have a lead because of a defensive replacement. Opportunistic time here because you put good speed at second base.
There's a strike. So.
Yeah, it's up to Brandon Crawford to try and make that move pay off.
One ball and one strike. Crawford hooks it foul. Look out. Here's Molly.
I tell you, I woke the folks up there in the Corona Beach Club.
Yeah, well, they were just having a good time.
Yeah, they were down there looking for limes, and all of a sudden they had a whistler coming at them.
1-2. Crawford fouls it back.
Well, these are the at-bats right here for Brandon Crawford. If you come up in this situation and get a base hit, you're going to get more playing time against left-handed hit pitchers. And he's been telling Bruce Bochy, I do not want to be a platoon guy. I want to hit lefties. I can hit lefties.
And I'll bet you Roland Smith wants to get him out with that curveball.
Well, like that. Fish ain't biting.
2-2.
No swing, says Manny Gonzalez, third base up. Checks it. Yes, he did. You might see two more balls in the dirt with the pitcher on deck.
And a base hit to right field. Blanco got a good jump. Here's the challenge. The throw home. Not in time. Is Montero missed the tag. And it was a good throw, a little bit up the line. Crawford ends up at second base.
We're happy in New York, Infinities. And that is a great at bat for Crawford. I did say that the pitcher was behind him, and that is not true. Brandon Hicks is in that hate spot. But look at this year, 3 for 7 against lefties, and this one picks up a couple of ribeyes. Nice at bat.
And now they're going to walk Hicks. And the first pitch nearly goes to the backstop. So the intentional walk in Roland Smith bringing the excitement to it. Pence took a 2-out walk. A double for Morris that really was the ball, as Mike said, should have been caught. And now Hudson's got a shot.
And Hudson could hit. And he really does have the credentials to prove that he can hit. If you go back to what he did when he was at Auburn University, I mean, he was an All-American. Last year there, he hit .396 with 18 homers and 95 RBIs. That's 1 year in college, not a career.
Strike to Hudson.
And last time I checked, Auburn plays in a pretty good league for baseball.
They do. Swing and a miss. How about UConn, huh?
Congratulations to the University of Connecticut. National champs in basketball.
And now the girls are going for it.
Wouldn't that be something?
0-2 to Hudson. Hudson fouls it back. The 0-2 to Hudson. And he got him looking. Hudson wants to argue. And now I love those starting pitchers. There's Crawford as he knocks in a run, and this is, or 2 runs. There's the missed tag at 7-2 Giants. This weekend, Saturday, April 12th, 105 at Sports Bag Day, presented by Good Neighbor Pharmacy. First 20,000 fans, they're going to receive that giant sports bag. And then on Sunday, which is also a 105 start, the first 7,500 kids 14 and under, they're going to receive sports sleeves courtesy of Powerade. sfgiants.com/tickets. Goldschmidt to lead things off, 7-2 Giants. Goldschmidt takes a strike. He doubled in the 4th inning. There's Blanco. Blanco now in left field. Look out. Stays in tight. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is hit somebody with a little floater, slow curveball. If you're going to hit somebody, you want to at least leave a bruise. And slow curveballs do not leave bruises.
1-2. Goldschmidt taps it out in front of home plate, and it's a fair ball. Goldschmidt's retired.
Take a look at the Tim Hudson timeline and the career. All started back in Phoenix City, Alabama in high school. Then he went on to Auburn University, where he was an All-American. And then the A's won 92 games as an Oakland A, then traded to Atlanta on August 6, 2005. Was there for 8 years, and this year in the offseason, he became a Giant, signed a 2-year deal. We are glad he is here. What a class act Tim Hudson is.
Facing Prado, who takes down low. On deck is Montero. And he gets the call from Jim Reynolds. Hudson deals off the end of the bat, foul. 1-2.
Take a look at the lifetime numbers Tim Hudson had against the National League West. Easy to see why Brian Sabian wanted to put him in a Giants uniform. 8-1 against the D-backs. Great record against the Giants, 8-5. 6-1 with the Padres, 6-4 with the Dodgers, 5-2 with the Rockies. He loves the National League West.
Prado bounces it foul. .78 pitches now for Tim Hudson. This game tipped off at 1:36, so we're creeping up on a 2-hour ball game. Two balls, 2 strikes. This is a long homestand for the Giants. They've got an off day on Monday in between the Rockies and the Dodgers. Love those off days at home.
Yeah, you don't seem to get too many of them if you're in the National League West, American League West.
And the Giants got 2 of them on this homestand. Day off yesterday.
Yeah, they're gifts, no doubt. Well, I mean, guys really do need them. I mean, a lot of these guys are still getting nestled into new places. Some are still in hotels looking for places to stay. And those off days, they got plenty of things to do away from the ballpark. Get nested.
And Prado stays with that breaking ball, and that's a 1-out single. That's hit number 6 for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, 3 of those hits have come off the bat of that guy right there, Prado.
And he was 1 for 8 lifetime coming in against Hudson. So here's Montero. Well, Hudson has not had any problems pitching out of the stretch. He's been in it a lot today. Montero had a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning. Takes that breaking ball and pulls it foul. 7-2 Giants here in the 6th inning.
Packed house.
And that's going to be right at Hicks, and that's going to be a double play. So Prado must not have known where Hicks was playing. Bottom of the 6th inning coming up. Top of the order, Angel Pagan, 7-2 Giants.
Insurance Brokers, offering business and personal insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. Visit us at hefins.com and by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
7-2 Giants are in the bottom of the 6th inning. New pitcher now for Arizona. It's going to be Oliver Perez. Remember, when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Take a look at the numbers for Perez in 4 games. Giants roughed him up a little bit, which is what the ERA is all about. You'll see a 90-ish fastball with a big curveball. And it's a good one. It's a strikeout curveball. And it's effective both to righties and lefties. Yep, we won it in 10. Yes, they did. And 12.
He must have another one at home, right?
Yeah, that's the away jersey. He'll wear that one on the road.
Pagan's going to lead things off. Pagan batting right-handed for the first time today. He's walked and scored, he's doubled and scored, and then in the 4th inning he singled and he did not score. 7-2 Giants, bottom of the 6th. And Pagan out of play. Kind of got used to day games this past week.
Boy, Giants have seen a bunch of them.
And remember, the home opener for Arizona was not a day game. There are some teams that have opening night as opposed to opening day. Giants are not one of them. Swing and a miss. So Pagan out for the first time. All right, let's check in with Amy G. Amy.
All right, gentlemen, you guys know as well as I do that the Giants have the best fans in the country, but are they good photographers? Well, we're going to find out. A fun contest brought to you by AT&T. Fans get to tweet your best fan photo. Make sure you hashtag it CSNBA fan photo. Include your name and your hometown, and you're going to have a chance for it to be shown on an upcoming broadcast. Game on, gentlemen.
All right, there's a challenge. Here's Belt. If you're any hitter that's a left-handed hitter in this lineup for the Giants, you take these at bats pretty serious. You figure that when push comes to shove, when you play the Diamondbacks, Kirk Gibson's going to use Oliver Perez to try to get you out. There's a pitch in tight to even the count. Perez had a great year last year with Seattle. Signed a nice contract with the D-backs.
Yeah, he's found a nice home in that bullpen. The time when he was a starter, a coveted starter, but he just could not make it work. But he's rebounded nicely in the bullpen.
Belt rolls a foul, 1-2. Talked about those day games. The Giants and D-backs played a day game on Thursday, and then the home opener for the Dodgers a day game, and then the Saturday day game, and then a 5:05 start on Sunday, and then a day game here today. Coming up for the Giants, night game, night game, night game, and then day game Saturday and Sunday. So I do think ball players start to get used to night games, and that's when they get into a routine. The 2 pitch. Belt out in front, as this is Prado who makes the catch. We mentioned earlier, Mike and I went down the line here in our level, and we saw Brian Stowe, and there you see Brian on the left with his Giants jersey on. That's his mom on the right. His dad's in the booth somewhere, but he is a huge Giants fan.
Now, he was pretty pumped up about being here opening day, and it has been an unbelievable story. And he looks great. And we're proud of him because he has fought hard to get back.
There's Sandoval, who takes the pitch high.
And he now has a quality life. And you talk about a close-knit family and friend. It's heartwarming to spend time with the Stowe family. They're amazing.
Of all the times that we've seen Brian Stowe, his mom and dad have been around, and I'll tell you, you would not know if they're having a bad day. They're always in great spirits. There's Brian giving us a wave. 1-2. Buster Posey to follow. Sandoval takes low. And that family went through some times where there weren't many good days. But you would not know it talking to him. Pitch to Sandoval. 2-2.
General strike. There's been an inconsistent strike zone today. It has been a frustrating one for the hitters.
Sandoval digs it out and fouls it out of play. Sandoval pulls it foul.
Oh, yeah, nice pick. Rich Bellison, yeah, you give yourself a little love on that one. Finally got a little leather on it.
I don't know how he did it, to be honest with
you. He doesn't know how he did it. The ball will find you.
Oh, my word. 3-2 to Sandoval. Every once in a while you'll see a play where the ball actually catches the glove. And I think we just saw it.
He's not done yet. I just got that feeling.
And Sandoval got a piece, hung on by Montero, and that'll end the inning. Brian Stowe here at the yard watching this one and watching the Giants lead 7-2. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Tim Hudson still in the ball game. He's leading by a score of 7-2. See the Diamondbacks leading off an inning 4 times, and they've scored a couple of runs. Prado's done a good job. Belt's got a home run, his 5th of the year, And the Giants 2-run first inning. 13 runs in the first, most by any team this season. Third base side, foul. So we'll redo it again.
Everybody's watching the third base umpire, but remember, that is the home plate umpire's call, whether it's fair or foul, until it gets to the third base bag. A jam shot, and it starts rolling down the line. Trumbo had to respect it. He busted his tail down the line. Clearly it was foul. But it was Jim Reynolds, plate umpire, that made the call. And then Manny Gonzalez, the third base umpire, did. Brad Ziegler, the submarine specialist, getting heated up.
And this one is fair to Sandoval. 1 out.
Well, check out Yahoo Sports Talk Live, presented by Comcast Business Class, hosted by Jim Kozamore, today at 5 o'clock. You see it right here on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. His guests today, one of our favorites, Ann Killian, one of our favorites, Andrew Baggerly, and one of our favorites, Brian Sabian. So check them all out today at Yahoo Sports Talk Live by
Elmer the Glue.
Jim Kozamore.
Here's Owens. Strike to Owens. Hicks on the backhand. 2 outs.
Giants moved Brandon Hicks about 4 steps over to the right towards second base bag, and it really paid off. He didn't have a lot of range, but how hard Owens hit that ball. I mean, he hit that ball well. 87 pitches on the day, and really only one time has he gone over the 15 pitch level. Remember, pitching coaches like to see 15 or less per inning. David Getty says 14 or less.
Here's Pollock. Pitching coaches can be really picky when it comes to stuff like that.
Hey, 14.5 pitches or less.
Pollock with a base hit to open up the 5th. High. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Next pitch for Hudson will be number 90. I mean, he really has been cruising.
Sandoval to his left. 2 outs, or make that 3. 3 ground balls, 2 to Sandoval, 1 to hit. 7-2 Giants.
Fellas, Ahmed Fareed, Dave Feldman, they host Sportsnet Central SNC. What's coming up tonight?
Live from Willie Mays Plaza, everything you want to know about the Giants. Ahmed will be there, I'll be there, Bags and Mindy Bach. And do Kruk and Kike remember who we are?
Of course they do, but are you going to let Ahmed say something?
At one point in the show, Dave will make fun of me, I'll fight back, and then we'll have a funny back and forth. That's how the show works normally.
Live Willie Mays Plaza after Yahoo Sports Talk Live. Kruk, Kike, do you know these guys?
Yep, a couple of cab drivers. Remember we had these two cab drivers in Arizona?
Yeah, we couldn't quite figure out why we had two guys driving the car, but it's all coming a lot clearer to me now.
We know they also do a great job here at Comcast. Oh, yeah. Yep. I thought you over-tipped him, too, by the way.
Well, I thought 50 cents a guy was pretty good.
A couple of good guys. Very talented. Here's Ziegler facing Buster Posey. Brad Ziegler. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
Off to a rocky start. Really a tough guy to hit. He's going to put the ball on the ground a lot. Low sidearm, submarine delivery. You'll see a big sinker around 85, 88. And a big sweeping breaking ball, an occasional changeup.
Right back to Ziegler.
But a lot of ground balls.
Posey's retired. And here's Pence. 7-2 Giants, 7th inning. It's the home opener. And some of the shots we get and the views we get from this park, unbelievable. Yeah, you're right. They're reminding us in the truck that with Ahmed and Dave Feldman, we shot a commercial in Arizona where Dave was driving the car, Ahmed was the passenger, Amy G was in the back with Mike and I. And the whole skit was about, we didn't quite know who those guys were up front. We thought maybe that they were cab drivers. Turned out to be very nice, entertaining, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Not sure if it has been seen on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, but if it hasn't, it will soon.
Yes, it will.
A couple of guys that like each other, have fun. It's worked for us.
Yeah, life's good when you got a good partner.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Pence is gone.
And there's the frisbee breaking ball from Ziegler that kind of runs up there flat and then just kind of starts cutting across the plate. It can get real big. The lower he goes, the wider it goes.
So here's Blanco batting for the first time. He's batting in the spot that Morris was in. Morris was 2 for 3 with a couple of RBIs.
166.
The pitch to Blanco. Outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. And a strike.
Pretty straight away in defense of Blanco, slightly over towards the third, left field side center.
And that's going to end the inning. You can watch these guys tonight at 6 and 10:30. They will dazzle you. 7-2 Giants. Two Giants as we go to the 8th inning. Tony Campana is going to be the pinch hitter. Going to be pinch hitting for Ziegler. And then the top of the order facing Tim Hudson. Your sellout crowd. Larry Bear's birthday today, so happy birthday to the boss.
His family.
Pam and the kids. There's a strike to Campana.
Happy birthday, Lars.
I wonder if he had to like finagle his, or somebody had to finagle their way to get that on the board. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he might know a few people to get that up there.
One ball and one strike. Sandoval really shallow at third. As this is driven to right. Campana puts a charge into this one, and it's off the bricks. Pence is going to get to it. Campana is going to go for 3, and it squirts by Hicks. And now Belt has got to chase it down, but it's a triple for Campana. So Campana, who can low fly, makes it the 3rd.
He's only 5'8", 165 pounds, and that's about all he's got right there. And once he saw that it was going to go over the head of Hunter Pitts, he was thinking 3 bags. And that's that low fly you're talking about.
Had Hicks come up with the ball, they had an outside shot at him. So the infield will play back with Parra. Parra's 1 for 3. And a bouncing ball to Hicks. Run will score. Hicks makes the play. It's 7-3. All right, let's check out our AT&T U-verse rewind on this date, April 8, 2011. The Giants home opener. The Giants raised their first World Series flag since the New York team did so on April 14, 1955. That was at the Polo Grounds. Aaron Rowan had a bases-loaded game-winning single in the 12th. And the Giants celebrated raising the World Series flag with a 5-4 victory over the Cardinals. We should remember that Aaron Rowan provided a lot of thrills for us when he wore a Giants uniform. He played hard, and he liked to play, and he liked to win.
And he liked to hit. I don't think I ever met anybody in my life took more batting practice than Aaron Rowan.
Hill takes a strike. Goldschmidt to follow for Hudson. He is closing in on the 100 pitch mark. Hill takes a strike. It's 2-2.
I don't think he agrees with that call. They'll take a little walk.
Got him.
That's a rough at bat right there.
The 4th or the 3rd time he struck out Hill.
Significant because Hudson only has 4 strikeouts.
So here's Goldschmidt.
A little change up. Look, maybe a bit of split finger, just way out of the strike zone.
Hill now lifetime 2 for 14 against Hudson. Strike to Goldschmidt, a double in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. Off the end of the bat, Hicks, Belt's got to get back. He does. Side retired. Nice inning for Hudson. He does allow a run, but he's going to get a standing ovation as he walks off the field from these great Giants fans. And that is a welcome to San Francisco for Jim Hudson. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 7-3 Giants.
Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. And you can join the millions of subscribers and watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit sfgiants.com for details.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
J.J. Puts the new pitcher now for the Diamondbacks. And Brandon Crawford takes a breaking ball, strike one. With Puts, you're going to see about a 90s fastball, low 90s rather, and a split and an occasional slider.
Swing and a miss. Crawford had a nice at bat in the 5th, a single and knocking a pair of runs off of the lefty Roland Smith.
Yeah, one of the big hits of the day.
And Crawford out swinging.
See the walk-off as Tim Hudson's day has come to an end. And the ovation he received from this great crowd, and then of course the high fives and back slaps and apwas, which is an athletic pat with a squeeze that you get from your teammates. Well earned.
Hicks 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. You see Santiago Casilla in the bullpen. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Avery Adrianza is on deck. One and 2 to Hicks.
I want to say happy birthday today to Joey Tolucci, former bat boy at Mike Murphy's clubhouse.
Out of play. Yeah, Joey was a bat boy for quite a long time.
How old is he now?
I believe he's about the same age as our kids, maybe 25, 26.
I don't know. It's going fast. He could be 36 for all we know.
Got that great degree from Santa Clara in beer pong. He was fantastic.
Yeah. Masters.
2-2. So Hicks works it to 3-2. So Adrianza. If Hicks sees another pitch out of the strike zone, we'll get an at bat here on the home opener. Got him. Oh, actually, Adrianza is going to hit anyway. That's only 2 outs. Stay tuned for the post-game wrap. It's coming up in just a bit. And Mike will also talk about the game with Murph and Mac tomorrow morning on KNBR 680. So here's Adrianza.
2 really good splits for payoff pitches from puts in this inning. He struck out Crawford with it, and he just struck out Hicks with it, and he threw a 3-2. It's impressive. He's always had great strikeout stuff. We first saw him with the Mariners, and he had stuff that Barry Bonds had never seen before. He blew Bonds away up in Seattle, which we looked at each other when it happened as if to say, "What? Who is that?
Who is this guy?"
Bonds says the best stuff he saw all year. But the 98-mile-an-hour fastball is gone. Now he's right around 90, 91. And he's come back from baseball death a couple of times where he's had really substantial arm injuries and worked his way through them to get back.
Putz strikes out the side. 9th inning coming up here at AT&T Park. 7-3 Giants. Some of the good things that has happened here at AT&T Park, also enjoyed by our friends at Finities in New York City. It's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
The numbers for Santiago Casilla, his 4th appearance for Bruce Bochy, have been all good. He's only given up the 1 hit. Low to mid-90s fastball, depending on the grip, curveball, slider, changeup. It can make you think about a lot of things, which really makes him unique as a reliever.
He's facing Martin Prado. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. 7-3 Giants.
Prado's had a good day. There aren't many D-backs can say that. Torture, 14.
Hit into center field. Pagan barely has to move. 1 out.
Giants have won their last 5 home openers, and in that this is their 15th home opener here at AT&T. They're 11-3 lifetime. So since coming over, they've really enjoyed the opening day baseball game. Coming into today, they were first place in the National League West. You can always check that out at the ballpark by looking at the flags on the flagpole in right center.
Here's Montero.
Giants, this is their 57th home opener in San Francisco. Lifetime 35-21 on opening day here. So historically, the Giants like opening day at home.
One ball and 1 strike. Pulled foul, 1-2, right at the end of the D-backs dugout.
So the Giants this year had 3 opening days. They won the first 2, and they're 2 outs away from winning this one. So it's a good reputation to get.
I think the D-backs could be 0-4. One and 2 to Montero. Garcia's got it. DeVille. 2 outs. And kick coming up is Mark Trumbo. Trumbo is 0 for 3. And he takes a call strike.
Good hard slider, just a little bit low. This is when the fans can really put an extra couple feet on your fastball if you're a hard thrower like Casilla. Because you want to give them what they want to see. And that's the last out of this ball game.
1 and 2.
Little cutter.
Now all standing 42,166. Got him, and that's the ball game. So Hudson and then Casilla, but this one was about early runs and Tim Hudson.
Well, Tim Hudson really, I think he's been looking forward to this for a long time. He came over, put on a Giants uniform, came back to the Bay, and he absolutely dealt. That's 2 back-to-back starts, both against the Diamondbacks, where he has been on top of them. But it helps to get early runs, and the offense, again, has stayed hot. They gave him those early runs, and he made them stay up.
So the Giants, 3 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for the Diamondbacks. For San Francisco, 7 runs, 10 hits, and an error, and they did the bulk of their scoring, all of their scoring, through the first 5 innings. Final score, Giants 7, Diamondbacks 3. Esurance Giants postgame live with interviews with the Rapids coming up. But first, let's go to Willie Mays Plaza for this update.